What if I told you that the way you pet your dog right now, today, in this very moment, is actually making your dog trust you less? Not a little less. A lot less. And the scary part is, your dog has been trying to tell you this for years. But, because no one ever taught you how to read the signals, you've been missing it entirely. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you is going to completely change the way you see your relationship with your dog. And once you know this, you genuinely cannot unknow it. Let's start with something simple. Think about the last time you pet your dog. Where did you reach first? If you're like most people, you probably went straight for the top of the head, a nice big pat right between the ears. Maybe you rubbed the head enthusiastically, ruffled the fur a little. It felt natural. It felt affectionate. Your dog maybe even sat still for it. So everything seems fine, right? But here's the thing. Just because your dog tolerates something doesn't mean your dog enjoys it. And that difference, that tiny invisible gap between tolerance and enjoyment, is where most dog relationships quietly fall apart. I want you to think about something for a second. Imagine someone you just met, or maybe someone you kind of know, but don't fully trust yet, walking up to you and immediately putting their hand on top of your head and rubbing it. How does that feel? Weird, right? Maybe even a little threatening. Now imagine that happening over and over again, every single day, and you're not allowed to say anything about it. You just have to sit there and accept it. That's actually closer to the experience many dogs have every day with the people they love. And the worst part is, those people think they're being loving. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but my dog loves when I pet him. He comes up to me, he wags his tail, he leans in, and I hear you. But here's where things start to get interesting and a little uncomfortable. Dogs are masters of adaptation. They are hardwired through thousands of years of evolution alongside humans to seek connection with us. They will tolerate a lot of things they don't enjoy simply because being close to you, being accepted by you, feels better than the discomfort of the petting itself. Your dog isn't necessarily enjoying the pat on the head. Your dog is enjoying being near you despite the pat on the head. Do you see the difference? Because that difference matters more than most people realize. Here's something that dog behaviorists and animal psychologists have known for a long time, but that almost never makes it into casual conversation. Dogs communicate almost entirely through body language. Not barking, not whining, not growling. Body language. Tiny, subtle, almost invisible signals that they send constantly throughout every interaction. And one of the most misunderstood things about dogs is that many of their stress signals look almost exactly like normal relaxed behavior to the untrained eye. So when your dog licks his lips right after you pet him, you think nothing of it. When your dog looks away or yawns in the middle of your affection, you assume he's just tired. When he shifts his body weight slightly away from your hand, you barely even notice. But your dog noticed. Your dog is noticing everything. These signals have a name in the world of dog psychology. They're called calming signals. A Norwegian dog trainer and author named Turid Rugaas spent decades studying the way dogs communicate, and she identified over 30 of these signals that dogs use to express discomfort, stress, or a desire to de-escalate a situation. Lip licking, yawning, looking away, turning the head, blinking slowly, moving in a curved arc rather than straight toward something, sniffing the ground suddenly in the middle of interaction. These are all your dog saying, in the most polite and non-confrontational way possible, "Hey, I'm a little uncomfortable right now. Can we dial this back?" And here's the part that really gets to people when they hear it for the first time. Most of the time, when your dog is sending these signals, they are sending them during moments of affection, during petting, during hugging, during that enthusiastic face rubbing you do when you get home from work. Your dog loves you. That is not in question. But love and comfort are two different things, and understanding that might be the most important thing you ever learn about your relationship with your dog. Now let's talk about why this happens. Why is it that something as natural and loving as petting a dog can actually create stress? The answer goes all the way back to how dogs are wired, deep in their biology and their evolutionary history. Dogs, even though they've lived alongside humans for roughly 15,000 years, still carry the instincts of their ancestors. And one of those instincts is a deeply rooted sensitivity to anything that happens above their head or approaches their face from the front. In the wild, a paw or appendage coming from above means one thing: dominance, threat, predator. The brain doesn't fully override that ancient wiring just because the threat is actually your loving hand. It still triggers a low-level stress response in many dogs. Not always panic, not always visible distress, just a subtle neurological alarm that says, pay attention, something is happening. Now couple that ancient instinct with the way most people actually interact with dogs, and you start to see the problem. We reach over the top of the head. We approach from the front, making direct eye contact, which in dog language is actually a challenging behavior. We hug, which pins the dog's body and restricts movement, another thing that triggers stress responses. We lean over dogs to pet their backs. We hold their faces in our hands. Every single one of these things feels deeply loving to us as humans, because in human culture, closeness, touch, and eye contact are signs of affection and trust. But in dog culture, many of these same behaviors are signs of challenge, dominance, or threat. And this is where things get genuinely important, because it's not just about your dog being slightly uncomfortable. Over time, repeated exposure to unwanted or misread touch can actually change the way a dog interacts with people. Dogs that are frequently stressed during petting can become hand-shy. They might flinch when hands move toward their face. They might become avoidant, always just slightly out of reach. Some dogs develop what trainers call learned helplessness, where they simply shut down during petting because they've learned that expressing discomfort doesn't change anything. They go still. They go quiet. They look calm. But inside, their stress hormones are elevated. Their heart rate is up. They are waiting for it to be over. And here's the thing that breaks my heart a little every time I talk about this. The people doing this to their dogs are not bad people. They are not neglectful people. They are often the most devoted, loving dog owners you will ever meet. They just never learned this. No one ever taught them, and that's not their fault. But now you know, and knowing means you can do better. So let's talk about what actually feels good to dogs. Because this is not a doom and gloom story. This is actually a really hopeful one. Once you understand what your dog genuinely enjoys, you can start giving them that. And the shift in your relationship will be remarkable. You will see it almost immediately. First, let's talk about the concept of consent in petting. And yes, I know that might sound strange, but stay with me. Before you dive into petting, your dog, try something. Reach your hand out slowly, not from above, but from the side or below, and just let your hand hover near your dog. Don't push it toward them. Don't reach for them. Just offer. And then watch what your dog does. If your dog moves toward your hand, leans into it, nudges it, pushes their body against you, that is your dog saying, yes, please, I want this. That's a dog who is genuinely inviting touch. But if your dog stays still, turns their head slightly, takes a small step back, or just sits there without engaging, that dog is not necessarily saying yes. And continuing to pet them in that moment is ignoring their choice. This might be the most radical and yet the most simple shift you can make in how you interact with your dog. Giving your dog a say in when touch happens. It sounds small, but for your dog, it is enormous. It says your feelings matter. Your preferences matter. I'm not just doing this to you. I'm doing this with you. Now, where do dogs actually enjoy being touched? This varies from dog to dog, which is important to remember, but there are some general areas that most dogs tend to enjoy. The chest is a big one. Right in the center of the chest, a slow, gentle rub. Most dogs love this. It's non-threatening. Because your hand is coming from below, and the front, it's visible to them, and it doesn't restrict any part of their body. The base of the neck, just where the collar sits, is another favorite for many dogs. The shoulders and the sides of the body are usually comfortable areas. The base of the tail, for dogs who enjoy it, can be a really happy spot. And for dogs who are comfortable with it, gentle ear scratches can feel wonderful.